Good morning. Happy Red Friday, Trey.
Let's
We made
go.
it.
Made
Made
it
it to
back to another
Chargers
one.
weekend.
Sure is. It doesn't have quite the aura that it usually has, or what it's had the last couple of years at least.
Yeah, they you know, not living up to the standard over there in LA a little bit, and I don't know that we're gonna really get that this weekend either. And it's no, I mean, I feel like these guys are just snake bitten with injuries any and all times, and they always have such a talented roster top to bottom on paper, and you just never see that come to fruition. John Harbaugh coming to that team, I was kind of excited that maybe it could renew this Chargers energy a little bit, but you know, we can get into the injury report in a minute and everyone will understand where we're coming from then. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe a little stale on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe so. I do think there's an you know underestimation about it being a divisional game. I still think that
That's
the
true.
Chargers will come out and play, a tough game just because it is the Chiefs. We see that year in and year out. But so I don't have complete lack of expectations from the Chargers. I think they still come out and try to challenge us, but I do think it's a step down from competition that we've seen from week 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like I said, we'll explain kind of why that's coming up here in a second. But really wanted to open up the show today with some of the discourse that's been going on, whether it's on the local radio station, whether it's on the national media. National media loves to talk about the Chiefs and how they maybe aren't living up to the standard that's been set for themselves. And that's kind of been the conversation, right? We saw this conversation a lot last year with the offense. I think a lot of Chiefs fans and analysts as well, to their credit, were expecting a little bit of a flip in how the Chiefs offense was going to perform, maybe go back to the 2018, 2019 days, 2020 even. And that really just hasn't happened so far. And so the offense is getting a lot of flack right now. Mahomes is getting some flack about, some of the throws that he has out there, some of the ways that the offense is being conducted. Really, the only one getting flowers is Rashee Rice. If we can just be flat out about that.
Yeah, I think I agree. She Rice has been a stud so far. Isaiah Pacheco before the injury was playing good
Agreed.
ball. Interior line has been playing good ball. We've had some struggles on the tackles, but outside of that, there has I really what this stems from is expectation, right? You mentioned that where we came into the season, everybody's like, okay, here we go. Chiefs are going back to 2019, 2020 offense. They're blast through the air, 450 yards for Pat Mahomes every game, MVP. Nobody's going to question that. But here we are going into week 4. Many people don't even have Patrick Mahomes in their top 5 quarterback in the league right now, right? Some people got Geno Smith over my man. Crazy. I
Dan
mean,
Orlovsky.
freaking 2010. Um, so I at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. There's 100% confidence in that.
Yep.
But here is the other side of the coin here. Chiefs are undefeated 3-0 going into LA to play a divisional opponent. One of 3 teams undefeated left in the NFL. We have been playing at probably 75 to 80% of our capacity, and we still are undefeated going to play again in week 4. And so, and likely walk out of this one 4-0. And so I am extremely confident for the rest of the season that once Andy and Matt Nagy and Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the company figure this out, that it could smell like trouble. Smells like trouble for the rest of the NFL. So I think there's a lot of upside to what we're seeing right now and to what we've accomplished so far. Obviously, with the injuries, that creates another ripple that you have to figure out and work through. But once we work through those things, I think that's going to be some more, 7 to 14 point wins instead of these 1-3s, 4s, the one score games.
Right. No, I think that's, to that point too. I think a lot of people are just expecting blowouts along with wins.
Yep.
The thing you have to be thankful for is that the Chiefs are still getting wins. The
Agreed,
season is
100%.
broken up traditionally in quarters, right? Just like a lot of things are.
Yep.
And they have an opportunity to finish Q1 of the season undefeated,
Yep.
which is something that all Chiefs fans need to be thankful for. Um, Considering how close it's been and the difficulty of the competition, right? The Baltimore Ravens are clearly the second best team. Well, I can't say clearly. I think Buffalo maybe takes that throne.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I think
Baltimore, top
Buffalo's.
three team in the AFC. I think I can confidently say that. Cincinnati Bengals, they give us their best shot every single time. I think their record is not indicative of the team that they are. And then when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons emerging the way that they have too, led by Kirk Cousins, who's not a slouch at QB, that's tough competition.
Yep.
So the fact that those defenses have been able to step up and maybe make things difficult for the Chiefs offense, I think that's certainly something you can point at. Now, Mahomes didn't have a bad game against Baltimore necessarily, but there is one player who has consistently had poor performance, and he's certainly getting the highlight here in a lot of conversation, and it's Travis Kelce.
Yep.
He's even brought it up multiple times on the New Heights podcast, um, where essentially he's a team guy.
Yep.
He came out and his testimony, so to speak, was that he's been in the league long enough that the stats don't matter anymore. He just wants to be a good teammate, play quality football, and get a win.
Yep. Yep. I mean, arguably the best tight end to ever play, right?
Yeah,
There's conversation there, but at the end of the day, my guy is what, 34 or 35 years old.
35, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, to say that he's going to be the same player he was 10 years ago, I mean, that's just not realistic. But
No,
and really,
certainly not.
that could go either way, right? We could
Yeah.
be saying that Travis Kelce is light years better than he was at 25, which he is, to be honest with you. I think there's a couple things in his game that's maybe slowed down a little bit, and we've talked about that for years at this point.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
something, Andy and Patrick and Travis have all mentioned throughout press conferences this week or media days or whatever it may be, is that defenses are dialing in on Travis Kelce. They're gonna make the Chiefs beat them with Rashee Rice, with Carson Steele, with input any other player other than Travis Kelce.
Hmm.
And so if that's what it takes to get the win, then let's do it. That every team's got that guy where this guy's getting double covered or this guy's getting triple covered or he's got one heavy over the top and one man. And if Travis is going to be that guy again this year, so be it. End of the day, Andy, Patrick, they're going to draw stuff up to get Travis involved because, I do fully believe that, having Travis involved and integrated into the game plan is going to elevate the offense to new heights, all pun intended. But so I think getting him involved is going to be important moving forward. But I think something else that needs to happen is Patrick talked about it earlier this week in his press conference about making smart decisions with the football. He's had an interception in each game so far this season, week 1, 2, and 3,
Yep.
where he's essentially thrown the ball to the defense, like it was off the back foot or if it was on the run or whatever input situation, where he's made those plays thousands of times, right? We've watched him do it hundreds of times. And now those passes now this year are looking like mediocre passes from a Sam Darnold or Colt
Mm.
McCoy or who
Sam
and
Darnold, not the best example this year, anyway.
yeah, this year it's pretty easy when you're throwing at Justin Jefferson, but um, so I think once we get those, once Patrick figures those things out, I don't think that's a team thing. I think that's a Patrick thing. Once he can figure
Yeah.
that out, limiting the turnovers is going to be a big deal for this offense as well, and really the defense.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Take some pressure off of those guys on the other side of the ball
Yep.
because those turnovers, those situations where they're having a punt, it's leaving the defense on the field for a long time. Now we saw a shift in that a little bit in the Falcons game where the Chiefs played time of possession ball because I think of some of these struggles driving that strategy,
Yeah.
but they held the ball for about 30 some odd minutes. It was like 32 minutes going into the fourth quarter, I want to say. So that's pretty significant when you've had the ball for over half the whole game and you haven't even played the whole game. So,
Yep. Sure is.
a shift in strategy certainly is something that we saw last year for them to find success. Maybe that's what needs to happen again this year until, eventually defenses are going to stop keying on Travis Kelce and bracketing him the way that they do because Mahomes has actually come to his defense and explained that too,
Yeah.
right? And so eventually defenses are going to start keying on Rashee Rice or maybe another weapon emerges. Maybe Kareem Hunt has an incredible game here in the near future, and they start keying on the run game. There are ways that the season will continue to evolve that may or may not shift the strategy defenses have when they come into play Kansas City. So
Yeah.
those are all things to look at. Just to keep things moving along too, Kareem Hunt, since I mentioned him, has been activated to the 53-man roster. So we're going to get he's number 29 now. We're going to get some number 29 action against Los Angeles. And I almost said San Diego. That still
San
wants to come out.
Diego. Yeah, I
What
think.
that means, Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, I think it'll be probably. I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty slow integration for Kareem Hunt this week, especially after what we saw last week with Carson Steele. Samaje P. Ryan 6 carries, Carson Steele 17 carries.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of confidence going into the Chargers game and not a lot of pressure to have Kareem Hunt produce. So this is a great opportunity. Let's say we're up 24-13, 27-13, whatever in the fourth quarter. Let's throw Kareem Hunt in for the whole drive and let him run the whole drive with the offense so he can get those reps. But I think overall it's gonna be pretty slow for him trying to get him integrated back into things, especially when the pressure's off. If we were playing, Baltimore, Buffalo, somebody like that, we might put the pressure on him, but no pressure this weekend, man.
Yeah, I think that's a good call too, right? Let him build some more confidence in the offensive game plan because, you know, Matt Nagy I don't believe was the offensive coordinator at the time Kareem Hunt was here as a rookie. I want to say no, he was. So that was 20, no, because he was in, I don't know. Got to check the timeline, I guess. But there's still things that have evolved about this offense that Kareem Hunt's going to need to catch up on. And, while he probably understands the basics and the fundamentals of what Andy Reid's bringing to the table and what Nagy's bringing to the table, there
Yeah,
definitely needs to be a slow ramp up. And luckily for us, we are not in a position where the injuries are so deep that we can't lean on the guys that were here for all of training camp, like you said, right? Carson Steele, getting him in there to get some of those carries. Samaje P. Ryan at this point has been here about a month. So he definitely, I could see him getting another boost maybe in
yeah,
snap count and responsibility. But,
agreed.
ease them in, right? Let's build some confidence up. Let's build some skill set up and kind of go from there. But I am excited to see, what's going on. Apparently he had a hernia injury last year he dealt with that he got fixed this offseason. So he was speaking with a lot of confidence at the podium earlier this week.
No, wasn't tracking that. Wasn't
Yeah.
tracking the hernia.
Yep. I didn't realize that was something he's dealing with either, but there are some injuries you can play with and some you can't, I guess, and that seems like something that would be painful to play with for sure. Um, let's just take this into the injury report. A little bit of a shorter list for the Kansas City Chiefs. Knock on wood. Mike Dana being the big name on the injury report, and mostly because he did not practice in any capacity this week. Now, not entirely sure what the nature of that injury is. Let me pull something up on my end here. It looks like it's a calf injury. So, I mean, that's one of the things you really got to be careful about because that can stretch into Achilles. It can lead to all these other things. Um, that's kind of like what Christian McCaffrey's dealing with right now. Not to speculate too much on what Mike Dana is, but it's tendonitis in his Achilles. So, those are tricky ones because that's where all when he's bursting off the line there, that can really hamper you or cutting or anything really. So no practice for Mike Dana. On the Chargers side of things, it is a laundry list.
Yes, it
Now,
is.
Derwin James suspended, but the rest of these guys, I mean, there's big names on here, Trey. Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, their
Yep.
two starting tackles, both no practice this week, along with Joey Bosa. That's not really a surprise to me. It's about the time he gets his sabbatical. Um, limited practice for a lot of other key players. Hayden Hurst starting tight end, Justin Herbert. We saw what happened in Pittsburgh. I mean, why even roll that guy out
I know. I'm
just to get?
surprised he's even limited this
I
week.
mean, golly, this kid's a warrior. I have the utmost respect for Justin Herbert because of what this organization has put him through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a tough blow. And then Khalil Mack limited as well this week. I mean, they very well could be without 7 or 8 of their top 10 players,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
incredible to think about how unlucky you have to be as a team to
Yeah.
get that kind of a barrage of injuries.
Agreed. Agreed. That's a tough pull there. But for them, at least it's early on the season. But they don't want to see that before Chiefs week, right? When Harbaugh was brought in, it was okay. Let's go beat the Chiefs now. This is our opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And here we come. Trojan horse, and the wheels are falling off. But
Can't even make it to the gate.
yeah,
Can't
yeah,
even make it to the damn gate.
yeah,
Yeah, that's just unfortunate for them for sure. But, even if for whatever reason Justin Herbert can't suit up, I don't think the Chiefs can underestimate this team because of
yep,
something you said earlier. It's a divisional game,
yep,
right? And they still have a few solid players that are taking the field. And if for whatever reason, Herbert's not ruled out yet. But if for whatever reason he is, Taylor Heineke has led victories against quality teams in the past too. I mean, we
yep,
all saw what he did in Washington. Um, so really, you can't underestimate anybody in the National Football League.
yep. Agreed.
So what do the Chiefs have to do to get this win, my guy?
So time of possession again. That was a great game plan in Atlanta last week. Own the clock. Keep the offense on the field. A couple things come from that. One, the Chargers can't score points when their offense isn't on the field. Two, gives our team ample opportunity to figure their shit out, or our offense ample opportunity to figure their shit out if you're on the field, right? Um, and then second big one for me is going to be pressure from the front seven on the defensive line. Whoever it is, whether it's a limping Justin Herbert or it's a Heineke, I want to get after his ass, right? I think Spags, whoever comes out as quarterback, he's going to send the house after him. I think putting Heineke under that pressure is going to crumble him, but I think if Herbert truly is let's say 60% capable of what he's usually capable of, then there's not going to be any rollouts or anything like that. It's just going to be go down in the pocket if the pocket collapse. So I see Spags really dialing up this weekend. I think that's going to incredibly limit what the Chargers are able to do. And so, offense, control the clock, defense in the house. That's my two takes there.
No, I'm not opposed to that by any means. I will say, with sending the house on those blitzes, I think just stacking the box up in general is going to be key because if it's Heineke back there, no Herbert, um, injuries on your tackles, there could be a lot of running in between the tackles with J.K. Dobbins too.
Yep.
And so making sure our linebackers are on point in this game as well is going to be key. Leo Chenal had a freaking awesome game again. I mean, that guy is really, really taking leaps forward. I love it. Um, and Nick Bolton is looking more like himself the
Yep.
last couple of games. So if they
Yep.
can maintain that too on the defensive side of the ball, it's going to go a long way. Um, in terms of the offense, man, I I want to see I want to see Travis Kelce get more involved, and I know I sound like everyone else now at this point, but the best games Mahomes has in his career, this is not speculation, this is merely a fact. The best games in Patrick Mahomes' career are games in which he gets Travis Kelce the ball 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a game. And it doesn't have to be that he's you know, targeting him 12, 15 times. Sometimes he can do that in less than 10.
Yeah. Or at
But it's just
100% capacity.
completing the target. That's what I want to see. I want to see him complete some targets to Travis Kelce because if that happens and we can break a defensive strategy that keys on Travis Kelce, then that means there's abundance of success in other areas.
Yep.
Whether it's the run game or Rashee Rice is popping off and doing what he does, or it's, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster has a couple of big catches or whatever the case, Xavier Worthy pops an end around, whatever it might be. That is usually the foundation for a successful game. And if that's not the case, then I want to see quality game from the Chiefs offense and how they can do that without Kelce.
Yeah. Yeah. What does it look like if we don't have a Travis Kelce?
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because I haven't seen a functioning offense with limited Travis Kelce. Not
Yeah.
yet.
Yep.
Now for the Chargers side of the ball, it's going to be an uphill battle. Now they're playing in LA, but that's not really a home game for the Chargers. Typically, you and I have both been to games out in LA, whether it's middle of the season playoff run, whether it's week 18, and we don't know who's actually going to play in the game.
Yep.
Chiefs fans take over that place. So that's hardly going to be a home game for them. So I think the uphill battle is just going to have to be, they have to figure out a way to fight through all of this adversity because the deck's truly stacked against the Chargers in this one. The Chiefs favorites by 7 points. We can give our picks here in a second. But if the Chargers are going to get this thing done, they're going to need some big home run plays from guys like Quentin Johnston or J.K. Dobbins. On the defensive side of the ball, their usual playmakers are going to be out. But if Khalil Mack can suit up, he's going to have to be the game wrecker that he has been most of his career, if not all of his career. It's probably a better term. He's going to have to come in and disrupt.
Yep.
Maybe force a turnover, maybe force Patrick Mahomes into an errant throw. I mean, that's really the only scenarios I can think of. And if they allow the Chiefs to score more than 21 points, it's game.
Yep. Agreed. So I'm kind of on the same train you're on here. If J.K. Dobbins goes out and runs for 130, 140, 150, 2 touchdowns, that significantly increases the chances for the Chargers to win the game because there's several things that come along with that, right? Time of
Yeah.
possession comes along with that. A worn down defense on the other side for the Chiefs comes along with that and creates opportunity in the passing game. And so I think if J.K. Dobbins, and if there's anybody capable this season of going off from a running back aspect, it is J.K. Dobbins. I
Yeah.
honestly, I am super stoked to see J.K. Dobbins getting after it because I've been rooting for this guy since he was at Ohio State, and he
Yeah.
had just a super tough go in Baltimore. And so I think that's one. And then two is going to be take advantage of Chiefs' mistakes. If the Chargers can get that interception or get that fumble or, stop them on fourth down or, whatever situation you want to input there, and then
Right.
create that into points, put that mistake in that Chiefs mistake into points for the Chargers, then that's going to put you in a position to be able to, make some slight mistakes yourself as you're going to make with all those starters, all those stars out of this game this weekend. So um, I think that's going to be paramount for the Chargers to be able to even think about winning this weekend.
Can you believe the Chiefs didn't look at J.K. Dobbins
I know.
again?
I
Let him
know.
slip through the fingers again.
Yep. Yep.
That's tough. Can you
Yep.
imagine? I mean, we may have a healthy Pacheco right now if J.K. Dobbins is on the team with that 1-2 punch.
Yep, man. That would be freaking lethal.
Oh my gosh.
Lethal.
Well, luckily for us, there's some universe where the Chiefs just drafted him and he didn't have that tough go in Baltimore.
Yeah.
We can we can talk more about that another
Yeah.
day. Guys, we miss on because everybody misses on somebody. Philosophical right there.
Yeah. We're always headed somewhere, buddy.
We're always headed somewhere. So the quick picks for this weekend: Chiefs -7, the point total at 40. I don't know, maybe I'm just rooting for a big time game, but I like the over here. I don't see a world where the Chiefs score less than maybe 24 to 31 in that range. Just with the number of injuries here, it's hard for me to not want to take that over. But on to that same token, if the Chiefs take the over, then or if the Chiefs score a ton, then maybe the Chargers don't. But I'm taking the over. I'm just gonna roll with that. I will I will take the Chiefs -7 as well.
Yep. I'm on the same boat. Chiefs -7, although I don't like -7. That's a trap. And man, the over under at 40, it's like, yeah, I could see this being a 20-10 football game, but also it's 40 points. Like the Chiefs could score that themselves. And so I'm like battling that as well. So I think I'm just going with the over as well. I think, the Chiefs put up 27-31, whatever it may be. And I think Chargers are good for 13-17.
Yeah, no, I like that too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man, I think we're in for some, maybe I don't want to come out and sound too confident or cocky, but I think this is a really good opportunity for the Chiefs to have a confidence building type of game,
Yeah.
right? Where you come out there, you ball out, it's a no doubter the entire time,
Yep.
and you roll that into the following week when you're taking on a very competent and tough Saints team right now.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I think there's a lot of promise here for Kansas City. I'm looking forward to watching this game, my guy. You got anything else
Yeah.
for the people before we wrap?
No, I'm ready to rock and roll as well, man. It's a great opportunity for this team. Almost feels kind of like kind of along the same lines as what you're saying. I don't want to sound arrogant here, but it's kind of opportunity similar to what the preseason's like.
Yeah,
We're at a situation now where Chiefs obviously have things we need to get hammered out from an offense perspective. And so let's utilize this game to get up early on these guys, create that cushion, and then figure out some of those lumps in the offense and work through those and translate that into the rest of the season.
absolutely. I love it, man. I love it. Make sure you follow the show at the fastest_40 on IG and Twitter. Appreciate everybody following along with the show this year on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you want to watch our ugly mugs talk about Chiefs football, feel free to do it there on the Odyssey Sports channel. Let's all have a great weekend. Happy Red Friday, everybody, and go Chiefs.
Yeah, it's Red Friday. Get out there and get your red out.
Peace out, everybody.